My own mother, who'd always been my biggest cheerleader, quietly assumed I was going to fail. And I got so mad, and I was so unwilling to do it anymore. I was wearing a hairnet and a lab coat every day, and my employees were former gang members. That's how I ended up there. That's how we did it. Anybody can do this. If you truly believe that human potential is limitless, what do you want to become? And what price are you willing to pay to get there? All right, the first thing to know about me is I am not a born entrepreneur, because right now the narrative about what it means to be an entrepreneur is to be naturally gifted. And I call total bullshit on that, because I'm not naturally gifted. I don't have any natural talents. And all of us are born as this lump of jelly that can't hold its own head up, that poos in its pants, and we all learn to do things. And it's that ability to specialize that makes us great. And the things that you choose to put your time and energy into, those are going to be the things that allow you to accomplish something. But all of that is a choice. My entrepreneurial journey began because even though I was a slightly chubby kid growing up in a morbidly obese family in Tacoma, Washington, I always knew two things about myself. One day I was going to be rich, and I was going to have six-pack abs. Now that's where I started. Now I'm going to tell you in a minute how I end up very, very, very far from there. But I want people to really think about that. When I left for college, my own mother, who'd always been my biggest cheerleader, quietly assumed I was going to fail. I had this sense that I could do more, that I could be more, but what my parents were teaching me how to do was to be a good employee. And to them that meant keep your head down, do as little work as possible, and avoid punishment at all costs. And so at one point I actually considered myself the king of remedial jobs. Well, I didn't take it seriously. So when I got to college, she just assumed that the big bad world would eat me up. But what she didn't understand was I knew one day I was going to be rich. These two guys that were successful entrepreneurs and bodybuilders happened to walk into a class when I was a teacher. And I thought, oh my God, six-pack abs and money. It's right there. Like, this is what I've been looking for. These guys are my white rabbit. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to figure out what it is that they've done. And they were just starting a technology startup. And they said, hey, we need a copywriter. Why don't you come be a copywriter? And so I was just young enough and just dumb enough to believe them and take them at their word. And I went all in. They literally put me in the room with all the computer servers. But starting from there, I knew I could wow people because I was willing to grind it out. And for the first time, I really got to show people that I was wildly ambitious. And we all have a superpower, and my superpower may be the willingness and ability to endure suffering. And I used to say to myself all the time, you're gonna get rich or you're gonna die trying. And they're gonna know no one else in their company is as serious as me. And I'm gonna claw my way up this company, and I'm gonna get whatever job I become the right person for, and I'm gonna work my way up. And by the time we ended up selling that company, I had clawed my way through sweat equity into owning 10% of the company and being the chief marketing officer, from starting as the copywriter. I had suffered a lot. I hadn't taken a day off in like 6.5 years because I was so hell-bent to get rich. And then I realized, almost 8.5 years in, here we are. We've just been named the 42nd fastest growing technology company in North America. We're making money, we're winning awards. I'd finally had enough. I had hit my breaking point from suffering, and I got so mad, and I was so unwilling to do it anymore. And I turned to my partners and I say, I'm completely miserable, I quit. And they said what are now famous words for me, we could do this without you, but we don't want to. And in that moment I realized what had been missing. I realized the reason I was living the cliche of money can't buy happiness. And along the way had become so myopically focused on this promise I'd made to myself as a kid that I never stopped to ask, why do I want to get rich? The questions you ask yourself will determine the course of your life. I had been asking myself, what do I need to do to get rich? And it left me really unhappy. So I changed the question. And I started asking, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing? life is too short, this is your one go-round. So what are we going to do? We're going to build a company that's predicated on value. We're going to build a company that's predicated on passion. I started thinking about my mom and my sister. They were profoundly overweight. I started thinking about my uncle who ate himself to death when I was 12 years old, and how much that scared me, and it made me sad. And it made me sad to see that there were millions, if not more than 1 billion people that were in the same kind of abusive relationship with food that my mom and my sister were. So I said, I don't know if it's a big business, but I know it's a big problem. And that's the problem that we're going to solve. And so we decided to build a totally new kind of company based around value. In 2014, private companies averaged 8% annual growth. We started Quest Nutrition in 2010, just as we were coming out of the Great Recession. I was wearing a hairnet and a lab coat every day, and my employees were former gang members, ex-drug dealers, felons. We were in Compton, and we literally told everybody in the neighborhood, I don't care if you've been convicted of a crime. I just want to know if you're willing to bust your ass to change your life. And if you are, you're going to get an interview. And I'm not going to ask for your resume. I don't care about your resume. Your resume tells me where you've been. It doesn't tell me the price you're willing to pay to become somebody new. Every belief that you have is a choice. I choose to believe that human potential is limitless. And this was the belief that changed my life, because once I realized it doesn't matter who you are today. So if you feel like you're incapable of something, maybe you are today. But just because you're incapable of something today doesn't mean that you're not capable of learning that thing. So it's not about who you are today. It's about who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there. And I promise you, the day that you're willing to pay any price, you'll achieve what you want to achieve. If you truly believe that human potential is limitless, what do you want to become? And what price are you willing to pay to get there? And so we were able to move so fast. And in moving that fast, in growing our revenues as much as we did, because we were thinking about the customer, make sure the product was amazing, that it delivered results. We're valued at over $1 billion. We became officially a unicorn company, startup, no investment capital from the outside. Our first 8 months, I don't think we spent more than $10,000. And we made a valuation of over $1 billion. All right. That's how I ended up there. That's how we did it. Anybody can do this. If you truly believe that human potential is limitless, what do you want to become? And what price are you willing to pay to get there?